Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Finally making videos again on making picks for the Overwatch League. With the way things are going, I was wondering when I would finally get the chance to talk about this again, but we've made it. We've arrived, and let's talk about some Overwatch League matches. Of course, as you know, I assume, the matches happening this weekend, there's 16 of them, so there's a lot of matches happening this weekend. So because of that, I will be going through all 16 matches. I will be making my picks for all of them, but I'm going to try to be brief on these matches. If it's a match that I think could be pretty close, I will, I'll talk about that a little more, but beyond that, I'm just going to try to give my picks, give my thoughts on what I think is going to happen. I'm going to try to make it quick so the video isn't too long, because 16 matches is a lot, and as we saw from last year, I struggled to keep the videos somewhat short at times. So, let's go. First, we have Saturday. We have our Chinese matches early in the morning. Let's take a look at all my picks here right now. Boom. First match, Guangzhou Charge versus the Shanghai Dragons. I'm picking the Dragons. I think the Dragons, on paper, are one of the top teams in the league, and I think they should have no issues beating the Charge. Chengdu Hunters taking on the Hangzhou Spark. A little bit closer, I think. I think the Spark obviously had a successful season last season. They have a lot of the same pieces. I think they've improved in a couple other areas, at least minorly, and I think that they beat the Chengdu Hunters because I think the Spark are a better team. Moving on, the Toronto Defiant taking on the Boston Uprising. I am picking the Toronto Defiant. This is a very close match. These are arguably the two worst teams in the league, but I have a little more faith in the Defiant and their roster. They've already disappointed me this season, but I have more faith in what they've shown than what the Uprising have been able to show. The Paris Eternal against the London Spitfire. Paris Eternal, one of the top teams in the league right now. They're very fun to watch, and I don't think you can pick anybody other than the Paris Eternal in this match. I think the Spitfire are good, but I don't think they're at Paris levels of good just yet. And we already saw them play, and wasn't super close. Next is the New York Excelsior versus the Atlanta Reign. This is my big pick match for Saturday. This is a toughie. I'm very, very split on this one. I kind of bounce back and forth. My reasoning for picking Atlanta is just because they've been playing a lot of the bunkery type compositions, so they are going to benefit from the lack of Lucio and the lack of Winston, and the lack of Sombra and Soldier 76 as well, I guess. But they're going to benefit from not having heroes playable who they wouldn't really be playing much anyway. And they've already been playing with other things. I could obviously still see NYXL winning this match, but I think the Atlanta Reign just have a little bit of an edge in that regard. Next, we have the Florida Mayhem versus Washington Justice. Another tough one to pick. I think both these teams are very, very good. They're very close in the standings. Mayhem are 2-3, -2. Justice are 2-4, -2. So I think they're very close. I could see this one going either way, but I'm picking the Justice, as I think they've been a little more impressive as a whole recently than the Mayhem have. Next, we have the San Francisco Shock taking on the LA Gladiators. It's a good one. I'm picking the Shock. I don't have a lot of faith in the Gladiators. I think they're better than what I originally said they were, but compared to the Shock, I think the Shock are just so significantly better. Final match for Saturday is the Seoul Dynasty taking on the Dallas Fuel. This will be our first time seeing Seoul. I'm going to pick them to win this match against the Dallas Fuel. I'm not crazy about the Dallas Fuel and their roster this season. I think the Seoul Dynasty have a pretty good roster. I think they win this match. Moving on to Sunday, we have the Shanghai Dragons taking on the Chengdu Hunters. And I'm picking the Dragons again because I think the Dragons are the better team. I really like the Dragons roster, and I think that they have one of the best teams on paper, and I think that they will win this match. Next, the Hangzhou Spark taking on the Guangzhou Charge. An interesting matchup. This is a tough one, I think, because a lot of people are very high on the Charge, think that they have a very good roster. I still think the Spark roster is solid. I mean, they were good last season. I don't think they're going to just fall off the face of the earth all of a sudden. I think the Charge are good, but I think the Spark are still a little better. I am going to lean towards the Spark for that one. NYXL taking on the Boston Uprising. NYXL. I don't really think I need to explain that one very much. That one seems pretty easy and pretty obvious. Next, London Spitfire against the Toronto Defiant. I'm picking the London Spitfire. I think the London Spitfire are a pretty good team. They have been let me back this up for a second. When you look at the Atlantic Conference, you basically have your 4 teams that are kind of fighting for supremacy in the Atlantic. NYXL, Fusion, Eternal, and the Atlanta Reign. Those 4 are the 4 fighting for the top spot. They're all very good. They're all playing very well at kind of different degrees. And one of those 4 is probably going to be the team that wins the Atlantic. Right below them, I would say you have the London Spitfire, and then right below the London Spitfire, you have everybody else. That's the way I see it right now. The Spitfire look good enough that they're at that kind of level. I don't think they struggle to beat the Defiant. I don't think the Defiant are that good. Spitfire are my pick to win that match. Next, we have the Atlanta Reign against the Florida Mayhem. I'm picking the Atlanta Reign. I think they're better than the Florida Mayhem are. I think the Atlanta Reign are going to thrive in this hero pool. And I think that they're just an overall good team. Next, San Francisco Shock taking on the LA Valiant. As much as I love the Valiant, I do not see them beating the Shock. If the Valiant are better than what we've been kind of led to believe, then I think that this could be a close match. I think the Shock looked a little shaky when they played against Dallas, but not enough for me to say that they don't beat the Valiant. I still think the Shock are the better team. Next, we have the Vancouver Titans taking on the Dallas Fuel. I think this is an easy win for the Vancouver Titans. I don't think the Dallas Fuel are that good when compared to the Vancouver Titans, who still look very, very good. And I think, given the fact that they've had how much time now to prepare, I think feels like a pretty good team to me. So, Vancouver Titans are my pick for that one. Final match of the week is the Seoul Dynasty against the LA Gladiators. This is a match I expect to be somewhat close. These are 2 teams I would put around a similar spot in the rankings. I give the edge to the Seoul Dynasty because I think, in general, their roster is better. Not in every position, but I think in general it's better. I look at their damage dealers, and I think 100% Seoul Dynasty has the better damage dealers. Profit and Fitz is way better than any damage duo that the Gladiators can put up. That is, in my opinion, just a fact. Then you move on to the tank line. I think that Seoul has the better main tank, whether it's Marvel or Gesture. But I would obviously take Space over Michelle. When you go to the support line, you get a little kind of weird. Main support, I would definitely go with Big Goose over Toby, which is a weird thing to say, I think, based on historic Overwatch performances, but I think Big Goose has been better than Toby. Flex support is weird, because Shaz is very good. I also think Badoshan is very good, so they're kind of even there. But I would say the Dynasty have overall the better roster. I think they're the better team. I think they should win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Gladiators win, but I think the Dynasty should be the team to walk away from this game victorious. And therefore, I'm picking them in my big pick game for Sunday. A lot of interesting games. Glad to finally be seeing all the Chinese teams playing and Seoul playing. Starting hopefully Monday, based on what we see, obviously we'll have a lot of matches in. I'll start throwing up the league standings. What is a little... I understand why the Atlantic teams are the ones playing more games. If you look at, the breakdown of matches. Sunday it's even. Sunday it's 4 Atlantic matches, 4 Pacific matches. But Saturday, it's 5. Oh, it is still 4-4. Oh, man. Oh, it's 5-3, actually. I take that back. The Atlantic is not playing more matches on Sunday. They're playing less matches. I just noticed that. So that's good. But, I'd expect the Atlantic to play a lot of games just because the Pacific is kind of limited in what they can do since it's region-based. And they can only play so many games when they're doing this whole regional thing. So I understand it. I get why it's happening. So, it is what it is. But I'm interested to see kind of what happens this week, see where teams land in the standings and all that kind of stuff. And that is really where we sit now. And we're just going to wait and see. But I'm super excited to see what happens going forward with this week. And I cannot wait to get back into watching some more Overwatch League. But that is everything that I have for you today. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. If you want more content like this in the future, consider liking and subscribing. And comment down below your picks this week, major matches at least that you think are important to look at, ones that you think will be crazy, matches you think will be really good. I'd love to hear it, but I'm going to get out of here. Thank you again. Hope you all staying safe. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Hope you all enjoy some great matches, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.